The rain hammered down relentlessly on the quiet suburban street, turning the pavement into a glossy mirror reflecting flickering streetlights. The night was heavy with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. Inside the modest house at number 42, Jack was winding down after a long day, his tired eyes glued to the flickering screen of an old television. The dull hum of static filled the room until a sudden loud knock jolted him upright. Jack wasn't expecting anyone. He glanced at the clock. 11:43 p.m. Who could be out in this storm at such an hour? He opened the door cautiously. Standing drenched in the downpour was a figure so unexpected that for a moment Jack thought he was hallucinating. A tall, slender woman, her skin shimmering faintly with a pearlescent glow, stood there. Her eyes were an unnatural shade of violet, intense and piercing through the darkness. She wore a uniform that looked oddly out of place, sleek and form-fitting, with subtle patterns that seemed to shift and ripple like liquid metal. Her hair was a deep shade of midnight blue, cascading over her shoulders in soft waves, but there was something alien about her entire presence, something utterly otherworldly. "I require assistance," she said, her voice smooth but commanding, laced with an unfamiliar accent. "You will help me clean?" Jack blinked, confusion flashing across his face. Clean? You mean wash?" "Yes, you will wash me." The blunt demand, delivered without a hint of explanation or pleasantries, struck him as bizarre, even unsettling. Jack hesitated, gripping the doorframe as his mind raced. "Look, I don't know what you want," he stammered. "Who are you? Where did you come from?" The woman stepped forward, unbothered by the rain soaking her clothes. "I am your guest. Now you will comply." Her tone was not a request, it was an order. Jack's instinct screamed at him to slam the door shut, but curiosity pinned him in place. Something about her wasn't entirely hostile, but neither was it friendly. There was an urgency in her eyes, a desperate need. "Come in," he said cautiously, stepping aside. Inside, the air was thick with tension. The woman's gaze swept across the living room as if assessing the environment. Then she turned back. "To Jack, my body requires cleansing. This is non-negotiable." Jack swallowed hard. His mind raced to understand. Was she sick, or was this some strange alien ritual? "Why me?" he finally asked. "Why here?" She looked at him with what almost seemed like frustration. "Because you are here, because you are capable." Jack was about to protest when a sudden shiver passed through the woman's body. Her skin shimmered violently for a brief moment, then settled. "Now," she demanded. Jack found himself fumbling through the bathroom, retrieving towels and warm water as instructed by the strange visitor. Her instructions were precise, almost mechanical, yet her body twitched nervously beneath his hands. It was clear this wasn't a simple cleaning. As Jack gently rubbed the strange, luminescent grime from her skin, a sudden wave of dizziness washed over him. For a fleeting moment, the bathroom walls seemed to ripple and bend. Jack shook his head to clear the disorientation, blinking hard. "Are you okay?" The woman's voice was softer now, almost concerned. Jack forced a nod. Yeah, I'm fine. Just dizzy." She looked at him with what could only be described as empathy. When the cleansing was finally done, the woman stepped back, eyes scanning her reflection in the mirror. Then, without warning, she pressed a small device hidden under her sleeve. A holographic map flickered into view, projecting in midair. Jack leaned in, eyes wide as the glowing symbols danced. They depicted a constellation of stars, connected by glowing lines, centered around a single red star, the home of the woman. "My people," she said softly, "are dying. A plague consumes us, a disease of the skin and mind. I am the last hope. This cleansing is the only way to delay the infection." Jack's skepticism was shattered. This wasn't some prank or hallucination, it was real. The alien's plea was desperate and sincere. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the front of the house. Both turned to see a shadowy figure looming outside the window, silhouetted by lightning. "We are not alone," the woman whispered. "They come for me." Jack's heart pounded. Whatever this night was, it was only beginning. Cliffhanger. As Jack reached for the phone to call for help, the power cut out, plunging the house into darkness. The alien maid's eyes glowed faintly in the pitch-black room as a chilling whisper filled the air. "Trust no one, not even yourself." The darkness pressed in around Jack like a suffocating shroud. The sudden power outage had swallowed the house whole, leaving only the faint glow from the alien maid's eyes piercing the pitch black. The storm outside raged on, wind howling and rain drumming against the windows. Jack's breath came fast, his fingers fumbling blindly for his phone. On the cluttered kitchen counter, the screen remained black, dead powerless, no signal, no hope. "Who are they?" Jack whispered, his voice trembling. The alien's glowing eyes flickered with a strange mix of fear and urgency. "The hunters," she replied. "They seek to capture me, to harness what I carry. If they succeed, it will mean the end for both your world and mine." Jack's mind reeled. What did she mean by "what I carry"? And how could her fate be tied to Earth's future? Suddenly the front door rattled violently as someone or something pounded against it from outside. "They've found us," the woman said, her voice cold yet determined. "We must move, now." Jack swallowed his fear, nodding. His earlier shock was quickly being replaced by a raw instinct to survive. But where could they go? The house was small, with no basement or hidden rooms. The alien maid's gaze scanned the room, then fixed on a narrow door leading to the backyard. "Through." "You there," she ordered. Jack hurried to open the door, pushing past the relentless rain into the backyard's darkness. Lightning split the sky, briefly illuminating the world beyond, a tangled thicket of dense woods stretching behind his property. "Into the woods," she commanded. With no other choice, Jack followed her. The cold rain soaked him to the bone. Branches scraped his skin, and mud sucked at his boots as they plunged deeper into the forest. Behind them, the pounding footsteps grew louder. "They are fast," the woman warned, her voice sharp. "But they do not understand this world." Jack's lungs burned from the effort, heart hammering in his chest. The alien's pace was relentless, but he struggled to keep up. Suddenly, she stopped, placing a hand on a massive oak tree. From somewhere beneath the roots, she pressed a hidden latch. The ground trembled, revealing a narrow tunnel carved into the earth. "This way," she said urgently. Without hesitation, Jack crawled into the tunnel after her. The air inside was damp and musty, but it was a refuge from the storm and the hunters. As they moved deeper underground, the alien's glowing skin seemed to dim, as if drawing strength from the dark soil. Jack paused to catch his breath. The strange silence pressing against his ears. "Why do they want you?" he asked quietly. The woman hesitated. "Because I am the bearer, the virus that ravages my people. I carry the cure." Jack blinked. "You have the cure? Then why do you need me?" "Because your world's biology is different. The cure must be adapted here. I cannot do it alone." A shiver passed down Jack's spine. This was bigger than anything he had ever imagined. An alien virus, a cure, and now him, an ordinary human, caught in the middle. As they advanced, the tunnel opened into a hidden underground chamber. Walls glowed faintly with strange bioluminescent moss, casting an eerie light. Jack's eyes widened. This place was no ordinary hiding spot. "You built this?" he asked. The woman shook her head. "No, it is ancient, a relic from a time before. Humans walked this planet. My people discovered it long ago, and now it serves as our sanctuary." Jack examined the walls. Strange symbols were etched into the stone, twisting and turning like living creatures. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the chamber. Jack spun around. Emerging from the shadows was a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It had the body of a large wolf, but its eyes glowed red, and its fur shimmered with metallic hues. The alien maid stepped forward calmly. "They are guardians," she explained, "bound to protect this place." The wolf-like guardian growled again, but then, to Jack's astonishment, it bowed its head. "They sense me," the woman said. "They trust me." Jack felt a strange mix of awe and fear. This world was full of mysteries, and he was only scratching the surface. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Dust and small rocks rained from the ceiling. "The hunters have found the entrance," the woman exclaimed. Jack's heart skipped a beat. "They're coming for us. We must prepare." Hours passed like minutes as Jack and the alien maid fortified the chamber. She showed him strange devices that emitted energy fields and concealed their presence. Jack struggled to understand the technology, but knew his life depended on it. "I need your help," she said softly, her eyes meeting his. Jack nodded. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed from the tunnel entrance. The hunters were here. Jack grabbed a nearby device, a strange glowing orb, and instinctively squeezed it. A pulse of light shot out, temporarily blinding the creatures approaching. The alien maid took advantage of the moment to activate a protective barrier around the chamber. Outside, the hunters snarled and growled, unable to penetrate the shield. "We have bought time," the woman said, panting, "but they will not give up." Jack looked at her, determination hardening his features. "Then we fight," he said. The rest of the night was a tense standoff. The hunters circled outside, howling in frustration. Jack learned more about the aliens' plight. Their civilization was on the brink of collapse, ravaged by a plague that twisted both body and mind. The alien maid was a scientist, sent alone to Earth with the hope of finding a cure adaptable to humans. But the hunters were not just enemies, they were former allies, turned ruthless seekers of power, intent on using the aliens' abilities for domination. As dawn approached, Jack realized that his quiet life was over. He was part of something much larger, a battle that would decide the fate of two worlds. "Tomorrow," the alien maid said, "we begin the work. But first, we must survive." Cliffhanger. Just as Jack felt a flicker of hope, a chilling sound echoed from the tunnel entrance, a voice, distorted and cruel. "We will break your sanctuary. We will take the cure, and we will end your resistance." Jack gripped the alien maid's hand tightly. "Are you ready?" she asked. Jack swallowed hard. "For Earth and for your people, I am." The pale light of dawn seeped through the cracks of the underground chamber, casting long shadows across the strange symbols etched into the stone walls. Jack's muscles ached, and his mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fear, yet beneath it all simmered a fierce determination. The alien maid, whom he had come to know simply as Lyra, was already at work, her hands moving deftly over alien devices that hummed softly in the dim light. "We don't have much time," Lyra said without looking up. "The hunters will regroup soon. They will try another assault." Jack nodded. "Then we need a plan. What exactly is this cure? How does it work?" Lyra hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. "It is a biological agent, a virus that neutralizes the plague, infecting my people. But it's not just a simple medicine, it's alive in a way. It bonds with hosts, adapts and evolves. My people called it the seed." Jack swallowed hard. "So you carry this seed inside you?" "Yes, but it is dormant. I need to awaken it here, on Earth, where its potential can be unlocked. The plague that destroyed my homeworld might be stopped before it spreads here." Jack looked at her, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He was no scientist, no warrior, but fate had thrust him into the heart of a cosmic battle. Suddenly, a soft beep interrupted their tense silence. Lyra glanced at a device on the wall. "They're attempting to hack the barrier. It won't hold forever." Jack paced nervously. "We need allies," he said. "Someone who can help us fight back." Lyra's eyes flickered thoughtfully. "There is one, but he is dangerous." Jack frowned. "Who?" "The man who betrayed us." 2 hours later, under the guise of darkness, Jack and Lyra slipped out of the chamber through a hidden tunnel leading to an abandoned industrial complex miles from Jack's home. The complex was a relic from a bygone era, empty warehouses covered in rust and peeling paint. "It's risky," Lyra whispered, "but he's the only one with the technology to amplify the seed's power." Jack shivered. "Who is he?" Former human collaborator with my people. His name is Marcus." Jack's brow furrowed. "What kind of collaborator?" Lyra's expression darkened. "He betrayed us, sold secrets to the hunters." Jack's heart skipped. This wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a tangled web of betrayal and deceit. Inside the sprawling complex, shadows danced across broken machinery and shattered glass. The air smelled of dust and decay. "Are you sure about this?" Jack asked, clutching a makeshift weapon, a sturdy metal pipe he had found. Lyra nodded. "He owes me a debt. He knows the consequences of failure." At the far end of the building, a faint glow flickered from a makeshift lab. As they approached, a tall figure emerged from the shadows. Marcus was older than Jack expected, with graying hair and cold, calculating eyes. His face was scarred, hinting at a violent past. "So," Marcus said, voice rough, "you finally show up." Lyra stepped forward. "We need your help. The hunters are closing in. The seed must be activated." Marcus sneered. "Why should I help you after what you did?" Jack watched as old wounds surfaced between the two. The tension was thick. Lyra's voice softened. "Because if the hunters win, none of us survive. Your technology could tip the balance." Marcus hesitated, then motioned them inside. Inside Marcus's lab, an array of alien and human technology blinked and hummed. Screens displayed data streams, and strange devices pulsed with energy. Jack's eyes widened. "This is impressive," he muttered. Marcus ignored him, focusing on a cylindrical container housing a glowing blue liquid. "This is the amplifier," Marcus explained. "It boosts the seed's activity, but it requires a host." Jack's stomach churned. "You want me to carry the seed?" "No," Lyra said quickly. "Only someone with your unique biology can safely carry it. The process is dangerous." Marcus smiled coldly. "But it's the only way to stop the hunters." Jack swallowed hard, torn between fear and duty. As Marcus prepared the device, Lyra checked the chamber for signs of intrusion. "Time is running out," she warned. Marcus injected a syringe into the container. The liquid shimmered, pulsing faster. "Jack, step forward," Marcus ordered. Jack hesitated, then moved closer. The machine whirred to life. Blue light bathed Jack as the amplifier synchronized with his body. A sudden surge coursed through his veins, and pain exploded in his chest. Jack gasped, collapsing to his knees. Lyra caught him, eyes wide with concern. "Hold on," she urged. Hours later, Jack awoke in a cold sweat. His body felt different, lighter, stronger, yet strange. "The seed is active," Lyra said. "You're now the key." Jack looked at his hands, trembling. "What happens now?" "The hunters will come. They know the cure is here. We must be ready." Suddenly, alarms blared through the complex. "They're attacking!" Marcus shouted. Jack scrambled to his feet. Outside, shadows moved swiftly. The hunters had arrived, armed and relentless. Jack, Lyra, and Marcus barricaded themselves inside, weapons at the ready. Gunfire echoed. Jack felt the seed inside him, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. As the hunters breached the doors, Jack stepped forward, a newfound strength surging through him. The battle was fierce. Jack fought alongside Lyra and Marcus, using the seed's power to enhance his reflexes and strength. But as the last hunter fell, a chilling voice echoed through. The complex. You think this ends here? It sneered. From the shadows stepped a tall figure cloaked in darkness, the leader of the hunters. Jack's blood ran cold. The final battle had only just begun. Cliffhanger. The hunter leader's eyes gleamed with malice as he spoke. Give me the seed, or watch your world burn. Jack clenched his fists, the seed inside him blazing brighter. For Earth, and for Lyra's people, I will never surrender. Jack's muscles tensed, his mind racing faster than he could control. The seed pulsed fiercely beneath his skin, a living, thrumming presence that seemed to react to the hunter leaders. Dark words. The underground complex had become a battleground, the faint glow of alien technology mixing with the harsh staccato of gunfire and the acrid scent of burning machinery. The leader's voice sliced through the tension. Give me the seed, or your world will burn to ash. You cannot hide from us forever. Jack swallowed the lump in his throat. I won't let you take it, not while I'm breathing. The hunter leader smiled, a cold, cruel twist of his lips. Then prepare to lose everything. In the dim light, Lyra stepped beside Jack, her eyes sharp and unyielding. He's bluffing, but we need a strategy, fast. Marcus, who had been standing near the control panel, keyed a sequence on the holographic interface. I'm rerouting the power to the defense grid. It won't hold for long, but it'll slow them down. Jack looked at the weapons in their hands, feeling the weight of the upcoming fight. This was no longer just survival. It was war. Suddenly, the heavy steel doors shook violently as the hunters hammered against them, desperate to break in. We have to buy time, Marcus shouted. Jack, you're the bait. Lead them into the traps I set. Jack's jaw tightened. Traps? What traps? Marcus smirked grimly. Old-fashioned explosives rigged to corridors and choke points. It'll buy us a few precious minutes. Jack nodded, steeling himself. The seed inside him flared, a warming glow coursing through his veins, lending him strength he never knew he had. Let's do this, Jack said, voice steady despite the pounding adrenaline. Lyra gave him a reassuring nod. We're right behind you. The doors burst open with a deafening crash, and shadows poured into the complex, heavily armed hunters clad in black armor, faces obscured by sleek helmets. Jack charged forward, heart pounding, triggering the first trap as he sprinted down a narrow corridor. A series of explosive charges detonated behind him, filling the passage with smoke and debris. The hunters faltered, but the leader was not deterred. You cannot run from fate, the leader growled, signaling his troops to press on. The chase led deeper into the complex, past rusted machinery and broken control panels. Jack's enhanced senses from the seed allowed him to anticipate movements, dodge deadly fire, and retaliate with precision. Behind him, Lyra and Marcus covered his back, taking out hunters with bursts of plasma weapons and carefully aimed shots. But just as the team reached the final corridor, a sudden explosion rocked the building. Dust and debris rained down. Jack was thrown against the wall, pain radiating through his body, his vision blurred. Jack! Lyra screamed, rushing to his side. He struggled to stay conscious. The seed inside him pulsed erratically, reacting to the damage. Through the haze, Jack caught sight of Marcus struggling with a panel, desperately trying to stabilize the power grid. We're losing the defense system, Marcus shouted. If this goes down, the hunters will flood the complex. Jack's mind raced. The leader was advancing, calm and merciless, his silhouette framed by flickering lights. Summoning all his strength, Jack pushed himself up. Lyra, Marcus, we have to stop him. They moved as one toward the control room, but the hunter leader anticipated their move, stepping in front with an eerie calm. Jack, the leader said softly, almost pityingly, you're just a human. The seed will be mine. Jack's eyes locked on the leader's. You're wrong! With a roar, Jack charged, the seed inside him igniting his limbs with power beyond human limits. The battle was brutal. Fists slammed, weapons fired, and the complex shook from the violence. The leader's strength was overwhelming, his moves precise and ruthless, but Jack's resilience and the seed's power kept him standing. Suddenly, Marcus shouted from the side, "Watch out!" A hidden hunter emerged behind Jack, aiming a plasma rifle. Before Jack could react, a shot rang out. The hunter fell, a smoking wound in his chest. Lyra stood there, her weapon steady. Jack gave her a grateful look, but the moment of respite was brief. The leader lunged at Jack, knocking him back toward the control panel. "Give me the seed," the leader hissed, "or watch your precious Earth burn." Jack's fingers brushed the controls. An idea sparked. "If I lose the seed, your plague wins," Jack said, "so I'll do this." With a desperate move, Jack slammed his hand onto the control panel. The complex shuddered violently. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. Marcus shouted, "No, you're going to destroy everything." Jack's voice was firm. "If they get the seed, nothing will survive. We burn it all." Lyra's eyes widened in shock, but then she understood. Jack's gamble was to sacrifice the complex and everything inside, rather than let the hunters claim the seed. The leader screamed in fury, rushing toward Jack, but a blast from Marcus's experimental weapon sent him crashing backward. The building began collapsing around them. Dust filled the air, and debris rained like a storm. Jack grabbed Lyra's arm. "We have to get out, now!" They sprinted through the crumbling corridors, dodging falling beams and explosions. The seed pulsed wildly within Jack, reacting to the chaos, its energy a beacon drawing hunters near. As they reached the exit, the leader's voice echoed one final time. "You think this ends with me? You are naive." Jack didn't respond. They burst into the cold night air, the complex behind them burning fiercely. Outside, under a sky streaked with fire and smoke, Jack collapsed, exhausted but alive. Lyra knelt beside him, breathless. "You saved us, but at what cost?" Marcus emerged from the rubble, bruised but determined. "The seed is safe for now, but this war is far from over." Jack looked up at the stars, the weight of the seed heavier than ever. "I'll protect it," he whispered, "no matter what it takes." Cliffhanger. As the firestorm raged behind them, a new threat emerged. A fleet of dark ships descended. From the sky, their engines humming ominously. Jack's heart sank. The battle for the seed had only just escalated. Jack lay on the scorched earth, his breath ragged and shallow, the glow of the burning complex casting long shadows against the night sky. Above, the stars blinked indifferently as a new darkness eclipsed them. Sleek black alien ships glided down from orbit, their ominous presence blotting out the familiar constellations. The war had escalated beyond anything Jack, Lyra, or Marcus had anticipated. The hunters had come in force. "Jack, look!" Lyra shouted, pointing toward the sky. Jack forced himself upright, squinting at the massive fleet descending like vultures over the ruined underground complex. The ships were huge, silent, and deadly, with a design that spoke of ruthless efficiency. Marcus wiped soot from his face and grimaced. "They're not just here for the seed anymore. They want Earth." Jack's fists clenched. "They want to wipe us out." The fleet landed without hesitation, their enormous legs crushing the remnants of the complex into dust. Alien troops poured out, their armor dark and glistening under the orange firelight. Jack turned to Lyra. "We can't fight them head-on. We need to regroup, gather allies." "But who do we have?" Lyra asked, her voice heavy with doubt. Marcus shook his head. "Our government thinks we're crazy. No one believes the stories. We're alone." Jack swallowed hard. The seed inside him throbbed, a constant reminder that he was the key, the target, and perhaps the last hope. "We have to contact the resistance," Jack said. "There are others like us, people who know the truth. We're not alone." Lyra nodded. "There's one place they might be, an old safe house in the mountains. If anyone can help, it's them." As they moved cautiously away from the inferno, Jack's mind raced with the implications. The seed's power was greater than he had imagined. It was a beacon for destruction and a key to survival. The alien hunter leader's words echoed in his memory. You cannot hide from fate. But Jack was determined to defy fate, to fight, to survive. The trek to the safe house was grueling. The landscape was scarred by fire and debris, signs of battle everywhere. Jack, Lyra, and Marcus moved through abandoned towns and shattered roads, avoiding patrols of alien drones scanning for resistance. At one point, Jack felt the seed pulse, violently, as if warning of an approaching threat. He raised his hand, signaling to stop. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a woman with fierce eyes and a scar running down her cheek. "Are you the one with the seed?" she demanded, weapon trained on Jack. Jack held up his hands. "I am. My name is Jack." The woman lowered her weapon slightly. "I'm Nyla. I've been waiting for you." Nyla led them through hidden tunnels to the Resistance's stronghold, a fortress carved into the mountain's heart. Inside, dozens of fighters gathered, their faces a mix of hope and hardened determination. "Jack," Nyla announced, "you can carry what could save us all, Lana, or doom us." The Resistance leader stepped forward, a grizzled man named Captain Rourke. "Tell us everything. How did you get the seed?" Jack recounted the story, the alien Maid, the hunter threat, the underground complex, and the battle that nearly destroyed them all. The room fell silent. Rourke finally spoke. "The seed is an ancient weapon, lost for centuries. If the hunters get it, they'll enslave our planet," Lyra whispered. "But how do we stop them?" Rourke's eyes burned with resolve. "We hit them where it hurts, their command ship. Without it, their fleet is blind." The plan was risky. The command ship orbited Earth, heavily guarded and shielded by layers of defense. The Resistance had limited resources but fierce determination. Jack volunteered to lead the strike team. "We need the seed's power," Jack explained. "It's our only chance." Marcus and Lyra insisted on joining him. The next days were spent in preparation, crafting weapons, training and planning. Jack's bond with the seed grew stronger, unlocking new abilities, enhanced reflexes, temporary invisibility, and a strange ability to manipulate energy. On the eve of the attack, Jack stood alone under the stars, feeling the weight of destiny. "If this fails," he whispered, "Earth dies." The assault began at dawn. Flying in stealth craft, Jack, Lyra, Marcus, and the Resistance team infiltrated the Hunter fleet's perimeter. The moment they breached the outer defenses, alarms blared. The Hunters poured out in waves, relentless and merciless. Jack unleashed the seed's power, a radiant energy field that swept through the battlefield, disabling enemy weapons and shielding his team. They fought their way to the command ship's airlock, but the cost was high. Marcus took a plasma blast to the shoulder. Lyra was nearly overwhelmed by a hunter warrior. Inside the command ship, the atmosphere was cold and sterile. Jack could feel the seed pulsing wildly, reacting to the ship's core systems. "This is it," Jack said, eyes scanning for the control console. Suddenly, the hunter leader appeared, the same one who had attacked the underground complex. Now, more terrifying, with his armor glowing dark red. "You think you can stop me?" he sneered. "The seed belongs to us." Jack faced him, steady and resolute. "This ends now." The final battle erupted. Energy against energy, fury against willpower. The hunter leader's strength was immense, fueled by the ship's technology. Jack struggled to keep up, relying on every ounce of the seed's power. Lyra and Marcus fought off reinforcements, buying Jack time. In a desperate move, Jack channeled the seed's energy into a concentrated blast, shattering the hunter leader's armor. The leader staggered, weakened but defiant. "You may win this battle, but the war is eternal," he hissed before retreating into the ship's depths. With no time to lose, Jack rushed to the control console. "Marcus, help me destabilize their core." Together, they overloaded the ship's systems, setting a countdown to self-destruction. As alarms screamed, the team fled through corridors collapsing around them. Outside, the command ship exploded in a blinding flash, fragments raining into the ocean. The hunter fleet faltered, retreating into space. The resistance cheered, but Jack knew the war was far from over. That night, beneath a sky free of alien ships, Jack looked at the seed glowing softly beneath his skin. "It's not just a weapon," he said quietly. "It's a responsibility." Lyra stood beside him. "We saved Earth today, but tomorrow, who knows?" Jack nodded. "We keep fighting for humanity, for hope." Cliffhanger. As they celebrated, an encrypted message echoed through their comms. An alien voice, calm and chilling. "This is not the end, Jack. The true enemy awakens." The faint static of the comms broke the uneasy silence. Jack's heart thudded as the alien voice, calm but full of menace, repeated, "This is not the end, Jack. The true enemy awakens." The Resistance Command Center fell into tense quiet. The words hung in the air like a dark omen. Captain Rourke's eyes narrowed. What true enemy? The hunters? Or something else? Jack shook his head, staring at the seed embedded deep beneath his skin. The power had protected them so far, but now a cold dread settled into his bones. Days passed, and the Resistance worked feverishly to analyze the message's source. Deep space sensors detected an enormous energy signature emerging near the edge of the solar system, a phenomenon unlike anything ever recorded. Nyla approached Jack in the war room. "The hunters are a scourge, yes, but what's coming, it's beyond them." Marcus, still recovering from his wounds, added, "The seed. It was just the first part of a much bigger puzzle." Lyra's voice trembled. "We thought destroying the command ship would end their threat. Instead, it seems we only delayed something far worse." Jack felt the seed pulse anxiously. Its power was tied to the balance of the universe itself. If the new threat awakened, it could mean extinction, not just for Earth, but for all life. The Resistance made plans for evacuation, defense, and a final stand. Earth's governments, shaken by undeniable proof of the alien threat, reluctantly joined forces. Humanity was united for the first time in generations. Jack was chosen as the liaison between humans and the Resistance, the bearer of the seed and symbol of hope. But as preparations intensified, Jack's connection to the seed deepened, unlocking visions, fragments of cosmic memory, ancient wars, and a race far older than the hunters. In these visions, Jack saw a colossal entity, the Architect. It was the true enemy, a being of pure energy and intellect, ancient beyond measure, whose purpose was to reshape galaxies by destroying life to forge new order. The hunters were merely scouts, sent to prepare worlds for the Architect's arrival. "We don't have much time," Jack told the Resistance Council. "The Architect will consume Earth if we don't stop it." Nyla leaned in. "But how? Our weapons barely dent the hunters." Jack's eyes gleamed with new resolve. "We use the seed, not as a weapon, but as a beacon. The seed's energy," Jack explained, "could summon a hidden alliance, a network of ancient alien civilizations who had resisted the Architect before. If they answered the call, they might turn the tide." Jack, Lyra, and Marcus led a desperate mission to the seed's birthplace, an ancient ruin buried beneath Earth's surface. Here, Jack would perform a ritual to broadcast a cosmic signal across the stars. The journey was perilous. The ground trembled as the planet reacted to the awakening threat. Alien hunters still roamed, trying to intercept them. In the ruins, Jack placed his hand on a crystalline altar. The seed's light exploded into a kaleidoscope of colors, sending pulses of energy hurtling into space. Suddenly the air shimmered, and a voice spoke directly into Jack's mind. "You have awakened the Guardians," it said. "Prepare, for the final battle approaches." Outside, the sky erupted with light. Ships from distant stars, unlike anything humanity had ever imagined, appeared in Earth's orbit. The Guardians, advanced, benevolent aliens, had answered the call. They came with technology that bent space and time, weapons that could dismantle the Architect's energy itself. The final battle was upon them. The Architect arrived like a storm, of light and shadow, a swirling maelstrom intent on annihilation. Jack, wielding the Seed's full power, stood at the front lines alongside the Guardians and humanity's united forces. Energy clashed. Lightning ripped through the sky, space warping as the battle raged across continents and into orbit. Jack pushed the Seed's power to its limits, channeling hope and human spirit into the heart of the conflict. At the climax, Jack faced the Architect's core, a pulsating orb of infinite energy. The entity spoke in a voice that echoed through his soul. "Why resist, mortal? Life is chaos. I bring order," Jack responded, voice steady and fierce. "Order without life is emptiness. We fight because we exist. We fight for hope, love, and the future." With one final burst, Jack unleashed the Seed's energy, infused with humanity's will. The Architect shattered into countless fragments of light, dissolving into the void. The battlefield fell silent. Humanity had survived. The Guardians offered a new alliance, promising protection and shared knowledge. Jack looked at Lyra and Marcus, tears in his eyes. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. Epilogue. Years later, Earth thrived in a golden age of exploration and unity. Jack, now a leader and symbol of resilience, stood before a crowd recounting their story. He ended with a lesson etched into every human heart. True strength comes not from power, but from unity, from hope, from believing that even in the darkest moments, we can rise. The Seed was not just a weapon, it was a call to awaken the humanity within us all. The story closed with a final glimpse of the stars, mysterious, vast, and full of promise. The universe was no longer a place of fear, but of endless possibility. The end.